Another excellent win for Graham Potter's Chelsea. That is 8 goals in his first 3 games. Two clean sheets on the bounce, rotation and still winning. The attacking issues are being fixed very, very quickly indeed. They move themselves into the top 4. We're going to delve into that and much, much more, along with Haaland scoring again, City running riot again. They are now sitting top of the league. A little bit of pressure now on Arsenal against Liverpool, and some huge pressure on Liverpool to ensure they win, to not completely fall away from the race. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. Smash the like and the share button. But Mason Mount running the show for Chelsea today. Graham Potter is bringing them back.
Oh, absolutely magnificent.
Welcome back to the Football Terrace. An excellent afternoon of football, really. Not if you were expecting City to lose. Not if you were expecting Chelsea not to win. Chelsea were always going to win this game, in my opinion. Wolves, we know they're not particularly good right now. We know that. But Chelsea were, in my opinion, very good. They just lacked in that first half the ability to kill the game off. But they created an abundance of chances and/or opportunities. And I think the and/or opportunities, I know there's a lot of talk last week around what constitutes an a chance. Aspilicueta put the ball across the 6-yard box. No one was there to tap it in. I call that a chance, even though there was no statistical chance created because no one made the run, but it was a huge opportunity. And you were thinking, are they just going to rue not starting Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Reece James being on the bench, Kovacic and others? But they came through, and Kai Havertz, who's been very much maligned, very much criticized, very much ridiculed for his lack of performances, really stepped up today. That goal that he scored with his head was excellent. The other individual that deserved a lot of credit today is going to be Mason Mount. Huge amount of criticism from his own supporters in recent times. 2 assists today, but it was the volume of chances that he created. I believe it was 5, all being said. 3 big chances created within the game, and he absolutely run the show. He bossed it, and he demonstrated, he laid down a marker to say to Graham Potter, please don't start thinking about ending my Chelsea career or making me a bench player. I do have the minerals, as it were, the ability. I can show you I can be consistent enough to be a leading light for a Chelsea team to try and win a league title. And very, very good as well indeed today. I thought also Aspilicueta that started in a wing-back position, I was quite impressed with him. He marauding down that right-hand side. Very, very good indeed. And what I would say about Chelsea is this, and it's an interesting one. My take on Chelsea is really interesting, I think, because, or my view of Chelsea is interesting, not because I'm saying it, because I'm interested, is I still don't think they were anywhere near the peak level that you could get this group of players performing. But what really impressed me is that today, with Aspie starting, Loftus-Cheek in the middle, Gallagher starting in a more advanced role. Now, remember, I was very critical of Gallagher earlier on this season because he was playing in a more in the double pivot. He wasn't doing very good. He started the game today. There was a number of players that started. Kai Havertz back up front. There was a number of individuals on the pitch today who are what I wouldn't refer to them as first team players for Chelsea. They're bench players. They're not fringe players. That's wrong. They're part of the squad. Used a lot, but not the main 11. And they were still able to play very well, score goals, be creative, almost impossible to break down. 3 games in. 3 games in with an international break in the middle of it. It's not as if this manager's had a month, 2 months of training. Graham Potter started off very, very well. It's almost understated because of what the likes of Haaland are doing, how good Arsenal's run has been, Liverpool kind of failing. Chelsea are kind of getting under the radar. A lot of their off-the-field work is what's making the headlines, and no one's really looking at how they're playing. It's 2 clean sheets on the bounce, 8 goals scored in their first 3 games with the manager, and that was what everybody's biggest issue was. If, by the way, if Thomas Tuchel was averaging 8 goals every 3 games, he wouldn't have lost his job. Everybody said this Chelsea team couldn't score. Everybody said this Chelsea team doesn't create enough. They're doing it now. 20 attempts on goal. They battered AC Milan the other day. And they had a really poor start to the game against Palace, and it took a worldie to win the match. But they didn't have that slow start. They would have done well. That was the first game. That was the first game. After the kind of return and everybody kind of being a little bit lackadaisical. But I think he's going to do a very good job here, Grandpa. I really, really do think he's going to do a very, very good job indeed. Let's take a look at some of your comments coming through here. First one says, frustrated by attack in the first half. However, glad to see Pulisic and Broja get on the score sheet. Another clean sheet, and our chemistry is getting better, is what Chris has got to say here. There was another super chat that came through. I thought I started, I didn't, but here it is from Moose Wizard, who says, so happy we got to rest Silva, Aubameyang, Sterling, even James Kovacic rested most of our game. Another clean sheet, and happy to see Pulisic and Broja score. Absolutely. And Bubba here says it, that Terry, 6 of our starters for AC Milan didn't even start. And that's because you need to beat AC Milan, or at the very least not lose. The fact that Chelsea were able to rotate that deeply and win the game that convincingly is a sign that Graham Potter's system, that Graham Potter's philosophy is already starting to embed itself amongst these players. Of course, we had the game. Did he take charge of the game in the Champions League against Salzburg? He may have done. That and the Palace game was a little bit bitty, a little bit of a poor start, but I think you're really starting to see it cook now. AC Milan next, then it's away to Villa, away to Brentford, and then at home to Man United. And by the time they play United on the 22nd of October, this Chelsea team really could be clicking into gear nicely. It really, really could be. I'd be impressed, and I'd be very happy today if I was a Chelsea fan. Big up Terry. What a great result for my team. Potter's magic is working well. Imagine we rest a lot of our first team players and players coming and stepping up. I'm so happy as a Chelsea fan. Broja's goal was a real striker's goal. It was. And listen, who knows? Maybe that's what he needed, just to get that, the monkey off his back, as it were. And get that pressure relieved. Move on to that next level. No doubt about it. I'm not praising the players for doing their jobs they should be doing. I'll praise them when they exceed my expectations. And that's a fair point. I would say that this isn't about over celebrating the players for doing what they're doing, but you're returning. Me and Lee Gunner had this argument a lot. Why should I be happy when my team do what they should? My rebuttal to that is, but if you return back to doing what it is you should do, there should be a happiness about that, because you've been moaning for years, weeks, months, however long your team's been in the mud, that you're not winning the things you should win. So when you're back to doing it, I don't understand why you wouldn't be happy, because it's the very thing you're moaning about that your team doesn't do. So yeah, a little bit confusing for me, but each to their own. A great win up the Chelsea is what Gabrielle says here. Chelsea OG says Kepa lol. I don't know. Kepa did all right. Did he make any mistakes today, Kepa? Did he? I thought he did all right again. One good save, I believe he made, that I remember. I might have missed something. But yeah, we will see. Let's take a look at some more of these comments coming through. Terry, Potter will be out in 18 months. Not just this. Sorry, I can't read that. Not just this is all a new manager bounce. Okay, so Matty, you don't think this is him going to be any good? This is just new manager bounce. I struggle to read that at first. I don't know. I've personally got faith in Potter. He can do it. I think he's going to be a stellar manager. I think he's going to be a stellar manager in the game. Terry talk about Nunez and he didn't get sent off for kicking out the player. I thought it was a disgrace. It wasn't even a derby. I mean, this is the thing. 1 minute we're asking referees to manage the occasion and the moment and the game. His team were 2-0 down. They probably weren't going to get back into it. He made the referee refereed the game in that moment with subjectivity, with emotion, with feeling, as opposed to by the laws of the game. And if Chelsea would have collapsed at the end and that man scores an equalizer or a winner, there would have been carnage. But it won't be discussed because, of course, Chelsea won the match. They scored 3 goals, didn't concede, so nobody will really care in the end. Mount doubters in the mud is what's good. Brandon's got to say. Well, I think what's really interesting is that loads of players started to fall off and fade especially in the latter stages of Tuchel. And every fan base does this. And I'm not surprised every fan base does what I'm about to say, because human beings are pretty similar irrespective of the passport you hold, the god you pray to, the type of people you date. We're all pretty similar in terms of behaviors. And there's certain players who have been given an excuse. They were only bad because the system was failing. And then others, and I think Mount goes into this category where a lot of Chelsea fans are like, nah, he's just not good enough. Today, he bossed it in the Premier League and he got 2 assists from open. I love the fact that he got 2 assists from open play as well, because he's the only one of the only players I've ever seen be criticized for being good at set pieces. He's good at set pieces, but I don't care. It's never really made sense. That as a train of thought within the game of football has always been very weird to me. Make sure you're doing me a favor, people, and you're smashing the like button for us today. Really, really important to us that you get that done. Give it a big, big smash. Make sure you're subscribing to the Terrace as well. What's the Tuchel fanboys saying now? I do find fanboys of anybody particularly weird. I would never support anybody above my club. I don't even support my own interests and desires above my own football club. As you all know, cancelling season tickets, not buying kits. I want to do those things desperately, but I choose not to because I think it doesn't help my club. Equally, I'd never fanboy a player or a manager over my club, because wanting the club to be the best it can be should be the most important element of yourself as a supporter. But there we go. If you then post the link, I thought I already did. So if I didn't share the link, I'll put it in now. Call in now. That's been posted, my people. We are going to talk a little bit of City as well. I know some people are tuning in for that. Another win for them today. Another comfortable win for them. Oh, by the way, Newcastle won 5-1. I just checked it. It was 3-1 the last time I checked. 5-1. Rah. 2 goals for Bruno Guimaraes. My God, they're flying higher right now. Brentford fall off is pretty high, you know. But City today with 4-0 win. Another goal for Haaland. That is 15 in 9 games. 15 in 9. I've still got all the receipts when I said that he'd break Mo Salah's record, and I was very much attacked, you know. Not as bad as I've been attacked today. It's funny. Do you want to hear a funny story as well? No, I'll save it for my space at 9 o'clock tonight, because it's about another club anyway. I've been told off for referring to somebody as being Islamophobic, and then they're like, "No way that person is." So what I've done, I said, "No, I'm not gonna. I'll reveal it later. I'll reveal it later, mate. I've got so many people bad today. I've got them bad. I've got all the receipts. It's coming. The reckoning is coming. But yeah, I got a lot of receipts on people that said Haaland wouldn't do it. No way he'd get anywhere near Mo Salah's goal tally. Man's on 15 goals in 9 games. I'm saying, everyone knows my thoughts on this. Haaland could become the greatest striker, the greatest goal scorer in the history of the Premier League. And I don't want him to be, because he's playing for Man City, but he's got the opportunity to here. He really has. He's horrendously good. That's the only thing I can use to describe him. Horrendously good. It just is. Just a neat. Like, I don't mean it as a horrible way. Please take this in the sentiment it's meant in. This motherfucker needs drugs testing. He needs to be drugs tested, because maybe he's got the same nutritionist as Conor Ben. I don't know, but this guy ain't human. Not human. I also want to see him have a race with some of the quote unquote fast players, because I've been seeing him sprint. I'm not saying he's as fast as Mbappe, but I don't think Mbappe leaves him for dust, you know. Like, I bet if they run alongside each other, I don't think there's dust. This is not like Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner. Beep, beep. It's not that. I think you're really... The geezer's a machine. He's a well-oiled robot. Someone said that there. Well-oiled. He is, but he's a machine. He's a damn machine. He's a damn machine. He's out of this world. And of course, Cancelo was great today. It was so easy for Southampton. It was for City against Southampton. It was unbelievable. I was watching it, and my first thought was, why are Southampton so open? Why are they so open? Do you know what I mean? It's weird to me. I know everyone's got these philosophies now they want to stick to, but I don't know. It's why so many of these teams get beat down so regularly now. Maybe. But did you know what's really funny though about the City thing? So for about 3 years now, maybe 4, a lot of people, predominantly City fans, a lot of Liverpool fans as well, and anyone trying to take a crown away from Man United, bear with me. And Chelsea fans, you'll back me on this. Trust. They've been trying to say that this is the hardest era, the best era of Premier League football ever. There's loads of people backstage. Would you agree? You've heard people say that? Like a lot of people have been pushing that narrative that right now is the hardest and the best around. And that was because what they wanted. Liverpool and City fans, if it's the hardest era ever, the best era ever, and your team comes out on top, you can claim to be the greatest team of all time. It was a very clear and sensible tactic. And then you had some rivals that were pushing it because, United are probably considered the greatest ever. Chelsea may be number 2. So we can take it away from them and give it to these 2 teams. Ha ha ha! We can take Mourinho's Jose away and 2 of Fergie's great teams away from the greatest ever and give it to these 2. Just to shit on teams we hate. Now suddenly Haaland's scoring all these goals, and everybody wants to say, well, actually, we're just a farmers league. City are brilliant, but the rest of us aren't really that good. It's gone from, and I'm seeing Liverpool fans say this. This has gone from being, quote unquote, the strongest Premier League era ever to a farmers league. I love this shit. I'm sitting there like, you man are shameless. Last year, greatest era ever. Most competitive, dominant. Anyone can beat anyone. Oh my God, the best Premier League we've ever had. Haaland scores 15 goals in 9 games. We're a farmers league, mate. No one can even defend that well here. So suddenly all the things you're going to listen, and this is where you'll be careful when you have your debates here. When you're going to see all the excuses they're going to use for Haaland not really being that good, or it being like false because of a farmers league, there's no more top quality defenders, the team he's in is so superior to everybody else, is going to be the complete opposite these people said when they were advocating a year ago for this being the best era ever in football. This is why the Football Terrace has this mantra of no echo chambers, because I call this shit out. You know, it's either the greatest era ever, therefore Haaland's going to be the greatest player ever, a goal scorer ever, if he's doing it in this era, or it's a crap era. And if it's a crap era, I don't want to hear any talk about this City team or Liverpool team being the greatest Premier League side of all time. You decide what it is. Now, the Terrace, you great football mind, you're going to get it. But for me, I'm looking on Twitter and I'm like, football Twitter sometimes for me is a madness, bro. But look, a lot has happened in a year, Nathan. Love it. Listen, the greatest era of Premier League football was like 04, 05 until about 2012, 2013. That period there, proper title races. Every year we had 1, 2, sometimes as many as 4 teams that were capable of winning the Champions League. And someone said the other day we're a farmers league. And I'm like, no, we're not. Liverpool are currently 9th in England because it's so competitive here. But they could still win the Champions League this year. They could click back into gear and they could do it. That isn't an impossibility. There's only 1 team in Germany that has any chance of winning the Champions League this year. There's 2 in Spain. There's none in Italy. There isn't 1 Italian team that can win the Champions League. England has 3 and nearly always has 3 or 4 in nearly every year that you could say could win it. You don't say the favourites all the time, but could. Chelsea could win it this year. Like, I'm not saying they will, but they could. Everyone would say your football knowledge for me is less potent and diluted if you say 0 chance Chelsea can win it, as opposed to saying I don't think Dortmund can, because Dortmund can't. They just can't, in my opinion. They don't have enough quality. So yeah, England is no farmers league. It's a good quality league. I'm not taking nothing away from Haaland. By the way, it also isn't the best. But I love how people pick and choose when it comes to those things all the time. I'm going to start going to some. I'm going to bring out a little mini panel. Actually, we've got David backstage, Matt's there, CFGOG, Chelsea Dan, Shrey, and some more. So we're going to bring some people out. We're going to do a little panel and then rotate some people in. Of course, it's facts. This is the Football Terrace, my friend. We only deal in facts. It's the only commodity worth anything. And obviously, when you've got the vast superior intelligence of a human being like me, that's a joke, by the way, for anyone that wants to clip it up, because I have got people clipping up my content at the minute. But thank you for watching and earning me money and help keep me going. They even went online. These guys are really trolling me. And they found out my business address and they've taken my public accounts of my business. Because, by the way, all companies' trading accounts are public information. They've been posting them on the internet. I'm like, cool. I'm going to post them a picture of my brand new, well, not brand new because it's secondhand, but my new i8 that I pick up on Monday. I'm going to send them a picture of that as well. And if you want to, if any of these thugs want to turn up at my studio to have a chat, feel free to. I mean, if you do what you say you're going to do to me by hitting me, It's only you that's going to be going to prison, not seeing your children, losing your job and ruining your life. I'm just going to make sure it gets recorded and I make even more money online by putting the content out. So come down and fight me. In fact, come down and beat me up. All it's going to do is make me wealthier. My channel's going to grow and you're going to do a bit of bird. Come on down. I dare you. Absolutely dare you. But there we go. There we go. Let's bring the boys out now. David is here. Matt's here. Chelsea OG first. How is it going? Gentlemen, how are we all?
It's a win, mate. We're happy.
Blessed,
Happy.
bro.
We're celebrating, mate.
Good. I mean, I want to start off by saying, David, Mason Mount balled out today.
I don't care.
I mean, you don't care.
I don't care. I don't care. I mean, it's like, it's all right. I mean, he did better than he's been doing, but I still think he's got to do better. I still think him, Pulisic, and Havertz, all three of them could have done a lot better today with the chances that they had. But again, this is me nitpicking at a really good result. We're trending in the right direction, which I'm happy about. But there is still a lot of improvement that we can make before we start.
Bro, be more positive, man.
I'm not saying that they weren't. I'm just saying that they could have been better. And to be honest, if we want to be at the level where I think we all want to be, which is winning leagues, they should be better. And that's ultimately the way that I judge my players. So, yeah.
I don't disagree. I think for me, I've said Mason Mount's a good player, and this is the standard I hold him to. Like a fantastic goal, fantastic assist. He has to be consistent. But if we're going to classify him as a generational talent, world-class player like some of these deluded fans do, I need to see this every single game because I see this once every 3-4 games, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy to see that with that because I classify him as a good player. But if we want to get to that level, that top level, we need these world-class generational players, and I'm not sure if right now these are the right guys for it.
Well, yeah, he's not a Reece James, yeah. He's not an A-star academy product.
He's nowhere near it. And the thing is, I'm calling it.
But the gap isn't that large. It's like there's an A-. He's an A-star.
It's very large. It's very large. Reece James is on another level. Reece James on levels with Thiago Silva, with the OG Kante, Reece James. Mason Mount's on the level with players like Willian. That's his level right now.
Yeah, I mean, he played well. I mean, in the comment here from Tim B says David would win the lottery and complain about tax.
That's a
good analogy.
No, low key, that's scam. That's a scam. If you win the lottery, you should be taxed on it.
No, but you don't get. I don't think you do get taxed in England.
You get taxed. If you do get taxed on it, that's a scam. 100%.
Yeah, maybe I do get it. But remember, everyone, David is a Tory, so it's one of those things that happens. Look, I get your point on Mason Mount though, but overall, like that's 8 goals in your last 3 games, 2 clean sheets. I mean, you must be happy, David, with the very quick early progression that Graham Potter's made.
100%. My only thing is that I would take these 2 games with a pinch of salt, simply because, how would I put this? Milan almost didn't care on Wednesday, and Wolves today had so many injuries, and they didn't have a manager as well. So, like, I'm not sure how I feel about, whether it's like we're playing really well and making teams look bad, or teams aren't playing that well, we're just capitalizing on it. We need to almost like play a team that's in form. Like if we had Arsenal next week and then we went and beat Arsenal, then I'd be there like, okay, we are really trending in the right direction. But as of right now, we're still like in this weird stage of we're improving. There's a lot to improve on, but we're getting there, and I'm happy with that. And to be fair, if we don't want to click into gear right now. You want to click into gear a bit later on down the line anyway. So it's positive overall. I know I sound like I'm complaining, but I'm genuinely very happy. It's just that I can like there's a way to improve on it as well.
You don't show it well.
I'm very happy with like how we played today. Like dominated them. I think they only had about 5 minutes where I was like, "Oh, Wolves could actually do something here." So overall, it's one of the best performances we've had all season. Yeah, like it was one of the best performances we've had all season. But we just got to see.
And Kepa, don't forget Kepa. He played a stellar game. Your cousin played a good game.
I was gonna come on to Kepa. It's 3 or 4 games running now, Matt, that he has looked solid. He's made good saves. All the kind of mistakes and problems he was having in the past seem to have dissipated, Matt.
And I said that, and everyone knows that. I said that back in 2021. I just saw a clip, Terry. I said that, and Terry actually thought I was joking when I said Kepa can become number one, and I wasn't joking. And I've always said Kepa is this man who's got determination. He wants to be the best. He showed it back in 2018 when he refused to come off. He always wants to be the best version of himself, and he's proven that today. I said it back in 2022, the start of the year, that we should be dropping Mendy so Kepa can come, because Kepa has this dominance that he wants to always improve. He's always got some good confidence, and he showed it today. He has the confidence. He's vocal. He's a leader. This guy is the man. He is him. He is the man. And this is the player who is our starting keeper. Last 2 weeks, I've been saying it non-stop, and this guy needs to be starting. Mendy is not going to be touching this pitch. Kepa needs to get respect. I need to get the respect. Give me the flowers. I've been saying this for months. Kepa has proven me right. And Kepa is a player now everyone's starting to see. This guy's always had it in him. This is nothing new. We've seen this since 2018. It's that 2020 spell when he had that toxic relationship with his ex. Frank Lampard disregarded him, put him on the bench, and put Willie Caballero and stinked him up there. And then now Graham Potter, Thomas Tuchel played a part where he regained his confidence, and he is the man. Telling you, Terry, this is what we've been waiting for. I've been saying this for months, and it's proven me right. Kepa is going to continuously be playing as a number one keeper. I don't think we even need to go and panic buy for a keeper in January. I think Kepa's that man until next August when we can have another discussion.
Well, what you saying, Chelsea OG? Give Kepa the rest of this season now? Has he done enough?
Yeah, I'll give him the rest of the season, but I'm not going to go as far and say we don't have a keeper issue. We still need another keeper, not Slonina, not a 19, 20-year-old. We need another keeper in August. And I'm hoping a keeper comes out of the woodworks, because most keepers right now are not available. Most of the good ones, we're not going to be able to get them. So unless someone shows out by the end of July, August, we could hopefully have a new target, a good one. Because I don't want Oblak, I don't want none of these older keepers like Sommer or any top special keeper. I want someone that has a very good full season. But Kepa's not the future, man. He's got one more good year before we need to upgrade. Even you agree with that, right?
Well, I said, I'll give it till August there. And obviously that comment comes up, am I serious or not? I was serious back in 2021, now it's become right. Of course I'm serious. This guy's a footballer, guys. He's a professional footballer. And off the pitch as well. What do we see him do off the pitch? When he's communicating with his players, he's handling what to do. Mendy's silent. Mendy's like a brick wall who doesn't speak back. Kepa's a man who's a wall in goals, and when he comes out of walls, he speaks. He's vocal. I don't want no silent treatment. I said it last week. I don't want my keeper saying nothing. I want my keepers yelling. Keepers see the whole pitch. If you're going to keep it not saying anything, that's a threat.
Yeah, listen, I think Kepa's done very, very well since he's been in, and I agree with you. I think it's one of those things that January may not be the right time to focus on that. That could be another midfielder that's needed. Strikers, whatever it may be, to try and get those done. Obviously, you're looking at the Nkunku thing. Who knows if you pay a little bit more and try and get him in January? But yeah, Kepa's definitely stepped up and is doing the right thing as of now. There's another super chat here I want to do. Sign the petition to get Haaland out of England. Yeah, I have signed it. I think it's up to 1.8 million signatures on there now.
What?
Same.
Also, Terry, I know you weren't one of them, but can I also have my flowers for Haaland as well? Because I said a year ago that this guy is a different level, and all of you, well, most of you laughed at me and was like, "No, Lukaku." I'm so, to this day, every time he scores, it fills me with a bit of anger. We should have dropped 150 mil. We should have done it. We should have just done it. Honestly, we should have just dropped 150 mil. Who cares?
Do you know what's funny? When you actually, when you guys didn't get him, the stories came out, and I believe at the time these were the PR stories of the club was worried about his overall ability and the knock-on effect with having the dressing room. When I've said before many times, the only time a player getting paid exponentially more than everybody else is the problem is if that person isn't performing. If Haaland came in and it looks like he's on £900,000 a week at City, including goal bonuses, like it's what he's being paid with all these bonuses. But they say his base is £500,000-600,000. If he was earning that in the Chelsea dressing room, but had scored 20 goals in his opening 12, 13 games in all comps, no players would be moaning. For the reason that the other players wouldn't be moaning is those goals would have you top of the league. They'd have you as favourite for the Champions League. And then the players get to all benefit off those goals, right? Yeah, you look back now as a Chelsea fan, and next week, you guys should have just dropped anything and everything you could. And all of us should have done, by the way. Like the how Man United, with the connections to Ollie, didn't get that deal done is crazy to me. But there we go. Terry, dub Haaland the Terminator, have hope. Well, not going to still have hopes. I'm just for me, I just call him Compound V. That's my little thing for him. Compound V. That guy's on something.
The boys.
The boys is very good. Terry, we are 1 point behind Spurs with the game in hand. The catch-up is on people writing us off. The media, YouTubers, Mourinho said campaign against Chelsea. Listen, I'm one of these people that said this. I didn't even think... I was shocked when Tuchel was sacked because I didn't think he was even that bad at that point. And people were like, well, why didn't... But they made a very ruthless and quick decision. That's 3 wins on the bounce in all competitions, 2 in the Premier League. It's 100% win ratio in the Premier League for Graham Potter so far. People that have been writing Chelsea off since the day you were sanctioned, I've found it to be a very foolish notion. And when I say foolish, I mean you are kidding yourself. You're only going to end up being disappointed yourself. Chelsea are about, I've been told today, that Chelsea could be about to announce a new shirt sponsor soon that will come in from 23-24 season, a massive airline, and it could be one of the biggest shirt sponsorships in the history of sport. This is the thing with the connections Chelsea's owners have got. You could probably bring in more commercially advantageous deals than you did under Roman Abramovich and the connections that he has, because of course there's issues there, right? This Chelsea team is going places, and it's slow. And what I'm noticing with most of you that come on the shows, people in the comment section, is almost, I don't want to get too excited about what Bowley's doing or what Graham Potter's doing because I don't want to end up with egg on my face. But I do think there's like a quiet behind, a little some embers burning in the background, and Chelsea fans are like, I just don't want to show it off yet. Maybe a few more wins. Maybe it's going to take a big, emphatic win against one of the big boys for you guys to let it out. But I kind of feel like Chelsea fans are keeping a big guard up right now. That's how it feels to me from the outside looking in.
Yeah, we don't want to get our expectations too high and then it just drops. We've had this before. So we're just going. For me, I'm going game by game. Like I look at these performances, I look at the manager, I go, fantastic. Do this the next game. Do this the next game, because we thought Tuchel was that man. We thought Tuchel was that guy, but apparently he wasn't. Right. So we don't want to get our hopes too early and go, Graham Potter's that guy after 3-4 matches. We have to go game by game on this.
No, I agree with that. Some more super chats here. This one says, I don't know what that means. Something like how he's been coaching the players too. I think you mean Graham Potter, but yeah, I think
he's talking about Kepa.
Oh, Kepa, sorry. Oh, right, as in Kepa's been orchestrating. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I didn't understand what he meant by that. Sorry, Sheriff.
That's what I'm assuming. Yeah.
What is that first?
Yeah,
yeah, I've never seen those letters. Also, there we go. Sorry, there we go. I couldn't work it out. Talk about Cancelo World Cup. I mean, Cancelo is so good. I know that he's not at Chelsea. I know you're obviously covering both games. The whole City team is just, again, City's team just feels like it should be illegal. It's so good, so deep.
They're on PEDs.
Yeah, no, they're obviously not. But it's they're just so good from top to bottom. It's unbelievable, really. I tell you another shocking thing that I've just learned. This. This is the most shocking piece of news all day. Bournemouth are 8th.
No, I put this in the group chat. Bournemouth are above Liverpool right now. If Arsenal beat Liverpool tomorrow, Bournemouth are ahead of them, and they lost 9-0. That's mad.
It is crazy, and it's. I mean, Newcastle have just gone into 5th place, and they were kind of struggling for a while this season because they weren't winning any game. That's the problem with being so early in the season, though. It takes Newcastle. 2 weeks ago, everyone was saying Newcastle got to start winning, though. A lot of draws. They win 2 on the bounce, and they're suddenly 5th. Like, that's how quickly. And same with Chelsea. That's why, like, I didn't write their season off when people did. You've got a game in hand over Arsenal. Even if Arsenal win their game, like win tomorrow, that puts them 5 points in front of you now. If you win your game in hand, there's only 5-point difference. And I'm using them as a barometer because I don't think any of you are going to win the league this year, barring City. But this notion that like Chelsea are a million miles away from everybody, it was weird to me. Liverpool's is different because there's nothing there performance-wise now, and they're currently sitting on 10 points, and they go away to one of the best teams in the league tomorrow. If they have 10, they're full. And Liverpool's target isn't top 4. Chelsea's kind of was. Arsenal's kind of was with where they were. Liverpool season's already a write-off because they're meant to be challenging for that league title. One here actually says 5 points behind Arsenal with a bad start. Levels, come on, you Blues. Of course, the Spurs game has kicked off. Spurs' game's interesting as well, boys. I don't know if have you seen their lineup?
I saw. What's his name started? Doherty.
So
no Jed Spence again.
So no Jed Spence. But in terms of there's been like a little bit of rotation to this team in terms of Basuma's come into the side as well. Matt Doherty's in the team. Ben Davis is in the team. So there's been a few players taken out, and some of it's from necessity. Some players, and obviously this is when we're really going to start to see how good Tottenham are or are not. And we're going to get this. Everyone's going to be tested. It's these 2 games a week for like 2 months now. We're really and Chelsea, and that's why Chelsea's result today should feel even better, because you rotated 6 of your main starters and you were still dominant, and you haven't been able to do that for a while at Chelsea.
Yeah, I know, and that's good. Like we have someone like Chalobah comes in, and for me, he slotted in fantastically for Fana. I didn't realize Fofana, was missing because Chalobah came in and did that so well. Same with Gallagher. Same with Brozier came on and scored a fantastic goal. Like this is what we need. We need our depth to perform, and that's what they're doing, and that's what I like. We saw even Aspie came on. I don't like Aspie honestly right now, but he came in and he did a decent job. That's what we need. And as you said, Terry, this is the week where we're coming up with 2 games a week. We need to have a squad where we're constantly rotating, and it's good now. Potter's starting to implement. Chukwuemeka came on and started today. That amplifies. He's going to continue to start. That's what we need. And again, these boys who came on, like Brozier, I just want to talk about his goal. Absolutely fantastic goal. I was watching it with Worldwide Chelsea, and I was saying it was like Lewandowski. For this guy's a proper striker, man. I can't wait to see this guy play properly, man. Honestly, he's a baller.
It's going to be
And
intriguing.
it was just that goal, David. That goal reminded me of Lewandowski. I don't know, for some reason.
First senior goal, like Lewandowski, mate.
We've got Chelsea Dan. We're going to add to this now. There's Chelsea Dan's here. What you saying, mate? Oh, he bottled it. It's all right, mate. We've all been there. What should Leicester do with Rodgers?
Sack him.
Bring in Tuchel, and then maybe they'll get top 4.
Yeah.
That's like bringing Ranieri back.
Bring him back, run it back. But look, I think overall, as I say, it's one of those ones for me where it's I don't know. I saw a lot of people on Twitter as well. When your second goal went in, oh, it's over now. It's like everyone's been watching Chelsea, and I suppose fans feel a little bit cheated with how quickly he got rid of Tuchel, because I think the idea was if Tuchel was still struggling, you would have gone for a bad run for it. What most of our clubs do when a manager goes on a bad run, they keep them too long, but rivals get to enjoy the defeats and the draws. You guys got rid of Tuchel so quickly. I think rivals feel cheated by Todd Bowley. They really do. I think they really, really do. But yeah, they've got to get rid. Brendan Rodgers needs to be sacked because he is done at that club. Great reception to the legend Diego Costa.
Yeah, we'll definitely give him his claps and his flowers. Honestly, I didn't realize who was on that pitch. Honestly, I think Koulibaly and Chalobah absolutely pocketed him. But he that was great reception from the fans, and it was great to see him back. And hopefully, he can score some goals, but not against us.
Yeah, man, look old though.
Oh,
like he's my age, and I'm not an athlete, by the way, so I obviously got a bit of a derby. Same age as me, and he looks about 52. Like he's got, he's got them like deep lines on his head. Like like those lines are deep, bruv. I'm like, bruv, he ain't.
They tell stories.
Yeah, tough life, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, he looks finished. Chelsea fans don't learn too early to be excited. Potter looks like a manager who will have selection problems and therefore affecting for the players. I feel Chelsea are for a down up movement. I think he means like that.
No,
that's the better way to say. I mean, for me, selection. This game showed that we have great selection. I think having these consistent players come like Gallagher, as I said, Chukwuemeka come play well. That's what we need. That's what good selection. And I don't think anyone kind of came in. I think me and David both mirror the same thing, that we're just taking it slowly. We're not going to jump in and give a high expectation for Potter and say, yeah, he's the long-term manager, he's the man. No one really said that, but yeah.
I hear you on that. What are you saying, David? Do you feel like people are writing off? Is Graham Potter being written off because he hasn't managed at this level? Maybe because of his passport? Like, do you feel like or is this still rival fans like projecting? What saying?
I think it's a bit of
Go on.
No, I was going to say, I was going to say, I think it's more hope than like he's actually a bad manager. And the thing is, I think most fans actually did really like Graham Potter, and now he's at Chelsea. Everyone's like, oh, not sure whether I can like him or not. And I think they just hope that he kind of fails, gets sacked quickly, and then goes somewhere else. I think that's what everyone's kind of hoping for. But to be honest, I don't see it happening that way. And like everyone wants to say, oh yeah, what do you mean? Because Tuchel literally got sacked within like 2 months. And I was like, yeah, but that's not that's not the same. This is like Todd Bowley's picked this guy out and has put a lot of faith into him. And I even the transfers I look at and go, very Graham Pottery transfers. Like Kukurea is like a Graham Potter will use Kukurea. Graham Potter will improve Chukwuemeka. Like he will do that to a lot of these players that we've already bought. So
yeah, you've got your technical director in as well now. You're going to get a sporting director. Unless you got to remember though, Tuchel wasn't so much sacked for the results. It was the way he wanted things to be done and the way the direction the club was going in didn't match anymore. And that was when that's the thing with him being sacked. And I don't mean it rudely. Rivals are allowed to have opinions, but they have opinions without reading the Chelsea stories. The amount of times you'll get a rival go, yeah, I think he got sacked for this reason. It's like every single journalist out there is giving us a story and it's nothing to do with what you've just said. So it's a difficult one for me, but I agree. I think this is people projecting. I think this is people going, I hope this happens. And I'm going to give it as almost like trying to talk it into existence. I have a feeling Broja will go places. What are you saying, David? What are you saying, David? You a fan of Broja?
I'm a really big fan of Broja. When in the summer there was noise of him getting sold, I was really annoyed. I was like, don't sell this guy. I looked when he played for Southampton, I was so impressed, and I like the way that Potter's giving him, like, drip feeding him the minutes, not just giving them to him in bucket loads and saying go and do something. I think this is probably the best way to adjust him into like this level of football, because it's different going from playing for Southampton to playing for Chelsea. It's massively different. So keep increasing his minutes, and then when he's finally ready, then give him his 3-4 game stint and see what he does. But I'm happy with the way he's being integrated into the squad. So
I think slowly is pretty good. It's best to start off slow and not rush him in, and we have a lot of games, so he'll get a lot of games for sure.
Yeah. Artem here says it took Potter a few training sessions to realize which role Gallagher's skills would be better utilized in. TT would still be playing him on the pivot. Do you know what? I do agree with that. I'm a fan of Thomas Tuchel. I think he's very, very good. But there's a few players that he kind of did things like that with. Like, how regularly was Callum Hudson-Odoi played where he should be? And I get part of that is the manager's system, and that's also part of this. But maybe the owners of Chelsea have also looked at the squad and been like, we've got all these really good attackers who are being played in kind of the more defensive roles or out of position. Well, maybe rather than spending another £200 million fixing the squad, maybe we just bring in a manager that will play them in their correct positions and get the best. Because I guarantee there's a certain player that ain't being mentioned at the minute. I guarantee he's away on loan. He's probably chomping at the bit to get back to Chelsea, and that's Callum Hudson-Odoi. I bet there's a part of him thinking, maybe under this manager, my attributes and my ability will shine through more. So it's certainly going to be interesting to see what the likes of Broja and Gallagher can do in this new world. David being called out here, Broja over Mount. I get you. Terry, sorry, bud, but can you send me the link again, please? We're actually pretty much at the end of the show, my friend, because I've got to go and watch the Tottenham Brighton game, because I've got a report on that later. And there's not much really to talk about in this game, really. I think we kind of covered the bases on it, as we always do. We are going to be live after Brighton Spurs. Who knows? Maybe a shock result will come. I'm also live at 9 p.m. on Twitter tonight, because I'm doing a stop funding the Glazers space, but it's all about explaining my position on why. And I am going to be calling out some people that I got. It's like this lady messaged me today, and she was like, you shouldn't be blocking the people that are challenging you. I said, I've only blocked people that have either threatened to beat me up, or I've been shown very nasty things have said about people, very like sort of bigoted views they've got on the world. And that's why I blocked them. And it's like, no way did that person do that. So I sent the individual the screenshots. 4 of them I've sent the screenshots of all the things this person has said. And instead of going, oh, sorry, you're right, they've all just blocked me. That's in their response. I'm like, so I'm like, cool. You know, if you want to, if you're a hero,
Don't be scared of the fight, fam.
It is what it is. Is what it is.
Take what Conor Ben's taking. All these people to line up.
No, I hear you, bro. I hear you. I personally feel they have too many good players, 2 good goalkeepers, and expensive signings. This kind of problem with players being unhappy, not good for Potter. He's a good coach. I mean,
I don't know what. No, not to offend this guy. This is the second super chat. He's not really explaining his reasons why. Like, 2 good goalkeepers is not a bad thing to have. Like, this is the thing. We can have 2 great goalkeepers. It's not going to stop this manager from having bad selections, as you would say before. So it's good to have selection and always be rotating players.
Is Brighton beating Spurs a shock? No comment. Tuchel's downfall was his interpersonal skills. I think there's some truth in that. Both him and Lampard both lacked in them areas, but there we go. Viewers, please make sure you smash that like button before you leave. I really would appreciate it. Subscribe to the Football Terrace as well. Until next time, take care. Goodbye. God bless. Gentlemen, thank you very much. And we'll see you again.